What is your campaign platform?
Excellent question, Darren. There's actually a question I get asked a lot. And one of the things that I like to tell people is that unlike other politicians or unlike other folks that are running for various offices, I don't consider myself as having a platform. But now let me qualify that statement. A platform is something that people normally stand on, and while standing on that platform, they'll tell you all types of things and make all types of general statements and or campaign promises. And I'm not that type of person. I don't want to be that type of politician. So I don't have a platform per se. Now, as opposed to a platform, what I do have is a plan. Now, the difference between a platform and a plan is this. Again, a platform, people will say, anything in hopes of getting elected, whereas a plan is a concrete set of steps to accomplish a specific goal. So now, this is my plan. From day one of getting elected to office, I will immediately implement a plan to revitalize and to renovate our old historic neighborhoods like the one that I live in. Not only do I want to focus funding, but I also want to start focusing on our downtown area as well. Now, this is why I believe that once we apply that effort and that momentum into going in and revitalizing our own neighborhoods and revitalizing our downtown area, then what we can do is start to generate some type of tourism base in our city. One of the things that I like to tell folks is that we have got to start giving people a reason to drive to Bessemer and not through Bessemer. And what that means is this. Every year you have folks that literally come from all over the world to go to Alabama Adventure, which is our local theme park. Normally what happens is these folks come in, they're staying in our local hotels, but when these people are looking for entertainment outlets, and they talk to any of the local people in terms of what there is to do, then generally what we do is direct them to the surrounding cities or the surrounding municipalities. So again, if we start focusing on revitalizing and renovating our neighborhoods, if we start focusing on real economic development in our downtown area, then we can, again, encourage folks to start driving to Bessemer and not through Bessemer. So that would be part one, again, and I would start implementing that plan from day one. The second thing that I would like to do, and I just briefly alluded to, would be the economic aspect of running a city. When I talk about economics or economic development, more specifically what I mean is that the time for our city to stop begging other folks from outside the city to put businesses inside of our city, whether it's through tax incentives or whether it's through other measures that we won't decide to put in place. We need to start actively encouraging local folks to go into business in our local neighborhoods. We have got to start seeing a reemergence of those old mom and pop places inside of our own neighborhoods. And a lot of folks say, well, yeah, that's a great idea, but how are you going to do it? Well, one of the things that I know is this. A rising tide raises all ships. So if a rising tide is going to raise all ships, if a rising tide is going to provide economic prosperity, then I'm pretty sure that we can develop some type of way between public and private partnerships to start getting folks into business in our city. I feel like one of the things that we have got to start doing through the utilization of our business and our business incubators in the city is, one, teaching folks how to develop a business plan. Two, teaching people how to go into business. Three, reinforcing that by showing them how to stay in business. But more importantly, after we take them through all of those steps, then we have got to find a way of providing funding or securing some type of funding for these folks to go into business. I mean, it only makes sense. And one of the things I keep telling folks is this. Every dollar that comes into our neighborhoods should circulate throughout that neighborhood at least 8 times before it leaves that neighborhood. Not only that, by putting businesses back into our neighborhoods, it will help foster a sense of pride within our community, because then, you can see your aunt or your uncle or your mom and your dad going into business. And when those folks go into business and they start hiring people, they're normally going to hire folks that are from right there inside of that neighborhood. In addition to that, when those individuals that are hired from that neighborhood, once they become employed in that neighborhood, once payday comes around every Friday or every 2 Fridays or whatever the case may be, then they're going to put that money back into that community because they're going to have things to do there. Another thing or another phase of my plan would be to improve the existing relationship that exist between our local law enforcement agencies and our cities. For a number of years now, that's been a relationship that has been lacking. That is a relationship that has invited a certain amount of cynicism. Some type of community-based board has got to be put in place to reinforce the people's sense of trust in local law enforcement agencies, because at the end of the day, everybody has got to feel like there is an equal sense of justice and protection under the law. Finally, and I don't want to say most importantly, because all of these things tie in together, again, we want to focus on revitalizing neighborhoods, want to focus on a tourism base, want to focus on economic development inside our neighborhoods, want to improve those relationships with the local law enforcement agencies. But one of the things that I also want to do is focus on developing a entertainment district in our downtown area. Now, what an entertainment district will do is simply this. One of the things that everybody doesn't like is an increase in taxes. Well, now, if you can provide more business revenue, if you can incentivize, again, local folks going into business right there in the city, if you can provide that type of entertainment outlet, then that'll give the citizens something to do, and that will give people a reason to spend their money inside of Bessemer. Again, we have got to get back to the business of providing a reason for people to drive to Bessemer and not through Bessemer. And through that plan that I've just presented to you, I think that would be an excellent way to at least start to getting Bessemer back into being that marvel city that we all know it can be.